Hello, and this is an impromptu broadcast or video, and we're going to be discussing the ongoing court case with Vince McMahon and his lawsuit. And I'll keep it as brief as possible because I understand that the filter system on YouTube is pretty tight on this story. So basically, yes, the co-defendant John Laurinaitis, who you may or may not know, probably will, in the court cases, decided to flip on the WWE boss. As you can see on screen, I've gone to the New York Post for this story. A former WWE executive accused of that in a bombshell lawsuit involving Vince McMahon reached a confidential settlement and will now snitch on the pro wrestling mogul, according to lawyers in the bombshell case. John Laurinaitis, WWE's former head of talent relations and people power proponent, was a co-defendant in a lawsuit filed by ex-WWE employee Janel Grant, and it alleges that he and McMahon subjected her to years of SA and coercion. The stunning about-face was revealed on Wednesday in a joint statement issued by representatives for Laurinaitis and Grant. John Laurinaitis has agreed to cooperate and provide evidence in Janel Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE, the statement said. His agreement to a confidential settlement is a pivotal next step toward holding McMahon and WWE accountable and bringing justice to Ms. Grant after years of SA and traffic lights. I don't know, sorry, code word for that. Mr. Laurinaitis looks forward to moving on with his life, the statement added. So without going into the details, yes, in January 2024, the lawsuit was filed with Janel Grant. It was as a result of, it was coincidental timing, but oh god, there's been plenty of videos online, so I don't want to do my own on it, but there's been plenty of videos online about the history of this when Vince retired in 2022. Retired in quotation marks, and Triple H was made head of content creation, essentially, head of creative within WWE, and Stephanie was promoted to CEO or joint CEO with Nick Khan, and all seems to be well until this was 2023, if I'm right. Yes, and then 2023 he came back, maneuvered it because that was the year of WrestleMania 39, which he was sort of allegedly or not allegedly interfering with, as a result of him coming back thinking he knew best. And by September 2023, he'd already given the company to TKO, and by 2024 he was gone. A year and a bit has passed since the lawsuit, and I know that because I was in Florida when this happened. So yeah, it's coming all back to me now. So yes, it's all very grubby. It's all very mucky. Grant's lawsuit, filed in 2024 in federal court in Connecticut, contains graphic allegations against both McMahon and Laurinaitis, accusing them of that and SA during her time as a paralegal at WWE. The complaint claims that McMahon forced Grant to perform acts on demand, to send him photographs daily, and to engage in non-consensual encounters, some allegedly orchestrated to benefit WWE business negotiations. That, again, you probably will know, that was allegedly a proposed bribe for Brock Lesnar to re-sign, allegedly. But he is named in the lawsuit as that proponent or as that benefactor of such an arrangement. Grant also alleges she was passed to Laurinaitis and he engaged in similar abuse. So there you go. Well, that's an understatement. Look at this. This is potentially bad news for McMahon. Yeah, no doubts. This case has been very grubby. I think everything about the court case from a fan's point of view has been very disappointing to hear about. It's Vince McMahon. We've all no one was surprised who's a wrestling fan. I think it was always very interesting to see mainstream coverage or sort of the lack thereof mainstream coverage. I mean, they did cover it slightly, but it should be bigger news than it was, in my opinion, for a global traded company as it was at that time to be accused of this, or certainly the head of it should be accused of this, and a lot of senior staff. The timeline of events, I mean, I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I would love to be a fly on the wall during those board meetings during that time to work out just exactly what went down, what exactly happened during the time where he, quote, retired. And seemingly from the moment he retired in 2022 was trying to engineer a way back, you know, several letters to the board, which isn't in this article, but again, the timeline of events is interesting. What this means for the court case, I mean, it strengthens Janel Grant's court case no end. And I think, yeah, Vince McMahon's in big trouble if John Laurinaitis is going to testify against, because that's what it will lead to. It will lead to John Laurinaitis will testify in court against Vince, and it will be, yeah. Well, I think this is I think it's big trouble for him. And I think WWE at large, they will be dragged into this. It's not just Vince versus Janel. The company is at large as well. WWE is named in the lawsuit. It's all over it. They can sort of wash their hands to a certain extent, but the company's culpable because they are the company in which this happened on. So they will be dragged into the courts as well. I'm not sure. I'd have to do more research into how dispensation they would get as a result of the fact that the figureheads in charge of that company are no longer there, or most of them. How much? The question is, how much did the execs that were there and are still there knew about what went down? And I think that will be, again, if they can get any evidence that they did know it was going on. You know, we all know the execs that are there now who were there at the time, and we can all name them. Some really close allies of Vince McMahon over the years, some production staff, senior heads, and also the ones that aren't there anymore who would be in charge of those things as well. So this is bad news for Vince, which no one's going to be sorry about, but it's, wow, this is a stunning turn of events. What do you think about this? Do you think this is an open and shut case? This is really damaging, or do you think, again, this is something that he will manage to wriggle out of, manage to fob off? Personally, I thought this would end in a settlement. I thought this would be the easiest settlement he could ever do, and he'd pay all the money in the world to get rid of this because, like I said, he's Vince. We all know what he's like, and the wealthy often get out of things like this by paying them off and getting rid of it. But I think if this is, I mean, if he was looking to fight this, I don't think he's going to want to or have any desire to fight this at the moment. I think we might be looking at more settlements if they so choose. If they think they can get way more out of him by taking him into the court, they will. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please leave me a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I do appreciate anyone who watches my videos and wants to participate in the chats as well. So thank you so much. I'll speak to you next time. Bye bye.